One of the things that Acer consistently manages to nail down with its products is their value, and the Swift X is another example of this. It has an AMD Ryzen 7 5800U CPU, RTX 3050 Ti graphics, 16 gigs of RAM, and 512 gigs of SSD, all for the price of $1,099. Furthermore, it plays true to its Swift title by arriving in a bundle that weighs just a little bit more than 3 pounds. The Acer Swift X has a fairly normal laptop form shape, but the dual-tone exterior color enables it to stand out a little more than the average laptop. The silver and champagne gold accent on the device that I now own is quite good in appearance. It's not overly spectacular, but it also doesn't appear to be dull. Overall, the chassis fit and finish are excellent, and there isn't a lot of flex in the palm rest region. Despite the fact that the lid has a little bend, the screen appears to be adequately protected and does not distort when little pressure is applied. Acer Swift X is a small and lightweight laptop that weighs around 1.4 kg. Its overall tiny size makes it incredibly portable. For a 14-inch laptop, you'll find a nice variety of ports. There are 4 USB 2.0 ports, a USB 3.2, Gen 1 Type A port with power-off charging, a USB 3.2 Type-C port that can also charge the laptop, and a full-sized HDMI port. There is also a full-size USB 2.0 port. Furthermore, a headphone jack, Kensington lock slot, and a round-pin charging connector are all present. On the Swift X, there is no SD card slot available. On the bottom, there are stereo speakers as well as a large number of air intake ports. The exhaust vent is located in the space between the lid's hinges. The keys on the keyboard are well spaced and do not make a lot of noise when you press them. A white backlighting system lights all of the letters in an even and consistent manner. Because the page up and page down keys are located just above the arrow key cluster, the arrow key cluster seems a touch crowded. The Acer Swift X is equipped with a fingerprint scanner that is conveniently located right below the keyboard area. It is responsive and performs admirably while logging into Windows. Even though it's not as accurate as a glass touchpad, the trackpad is comfortable to use and performs admirably. Its 14-inch display, which has a 16:9 aspect ratio and a full HD resolution, is made up of an IPS screen with a full HD resolution. A promised brightness of 300 nits was achieved, which was more than sufficient for my needs. In addition, the display includes small borders on 3 of its 4 sides, as well as a camera on the top of it. In the package, you'll discover a 90-watt power adapter as well as the operating manual. The Acer Swift X's screen is 14 inches in size and has a resolution of 1920 by 1080 pixels, so there's nothing really exciting going on here. It's still 16:9, so it's not utilizing any of the newer aspect ratios that we're seeing a lot of these days, such as 16:10 or 3:2, for example. It has a brightness of 300 nits, is anti-glare, and is full HD. As stated on the spec sheet, it has a very wide viewing angle, which is quite useful. This implies that no matter what angle you look at it from, there will be no obvious color distortion. Additionally, there are slim bezels on all 4 sides. Personally, I am a big fan of the display on this particular laptop. In our tests, we discovered that the display is largely ordinary for a high-end PC, which is disappointing. P3 is supported by 97% of the system in RGB and 69% in NTSC. Adobe RGB is supported by 74% in RGB and 73% in P3. The maximum brightness measured 306 nits, which was somewhat more than the claimed value. The contrast reached a maximum of 1040:1, which is once again rather good. In the end, the display on the Acer Swift X is rather decent, although it is unlikely to win any prizes for its performance. The keys on the Acer Swift X are comfortable to use, but I don't think there's anything particularly innovative about them. In addition to being a comfortable and accurate keyboard to type on, the keyboard is backlit for nighttime use. In addition, the keys don't seem jittery at all, which is usually a plus, and the volume of key presses is average. The Microsoft Precision Touchpad, which is composed of mylar, is located beneath the keyboard. Personally, I prefer it if it were a bit bigger, so that it could make better use of the available space, but the current size is enough. In addition, a fingerprint sensor is located in the bottom right corner of the keyboard. Because there is no infrared camera for face recognition on this system, this is the only choice for Windows Hello on this machine. To be fair, it is a reasonably effective fingerprint sensor. During the brief time I had with it, the Acer Swift X proved to be nothing short of a trooper, which, to be honest, I didn't expect anything less. Because of the excellent specs, Windows 11 seems quick and everything functions well. It booted up and loaded programs swiftly, and the display rendered everything as bright and colorful as possible. Rather than boosting the brightness above 60% when indoors, I found myself rarely going above that threshold. In addition, the vertical viewing angles are rather good. As a result of the display's matte surface, reflections aren't a significant issue. The webcam's image quality was just slightly above average. However, even when your face is well lit, highlights might appear overexposed and darker parts can appear grainy and gloomy. The colors are still superior than those produced by a MacBook Air M1, but the overall quality is mediocre. Despite the fact that the keyboard is typically pleasant to type on, the proximity of the page up and page down buttons to the direction pad meant that I would accidentally hit the wrong key almost every time, which was quite inconvenient for me. Watching videos on the Acer Swift X is a pleasurable experience, but the stereo speakers are subpar and produce tinny sound. The volume isn't loud enough for gaming, but it's sufficient for casual listening. When it comes to gaming, the Swift X manages to keep up even in the most demanding situations. Rise of the Tomb Raider's built-in benchmark achieved an average frame rate of 51 frames per second when using the Ultra Graphics option and the display's native resolution. During real gaming, there were a few instances where the frame rate dropped below the 30 for a small period of time, but the game played quite smoothly overall. The benchmark for Far Cry 5 showed an average frame rate of 49 frames per second at the highest quality option with DLSS enabled.